What's up, everybody? We just saw Russell Dynasty, and we had a banger fucking match. Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd, Adrian. But Gabe Kidd's contract is currently expired as of today. Do you
Oh,
think he's going to re-sign with New Japan Pro Wrestling? Do you see him in AEW, or do you see him going to the big show, WWE, Adrian?
I see him re-signing with New Japan Pro Wrestling. After the match, the announcers were saying Gabe Kidd is the future of New Japan. And he went up against Kenny Omega as a guy who pretty much built or New Japan to new heights in in the late 2010s, mid 2010s. But if I were New Japan, I would consider giving Gabe Kidd all the things that he wants because he is the future. He is good. AEW, he's gonna get lost in the shuffle. We know that for a fact. WWE don't know what they could do with him. But they WWE has a team of creatives, has a team of writers. They can come up with something over there. Um, but I think Gay Kid needs a couple, maybe 3 more years in New Japan, build his stock up. He's still young, and if he decides to go to WWE, he can be something big, something great. He could be a good heel for that company. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles are pretty much on their way out of WWE. So yeah, it's a good fit for Gabe Kidd.
He reminds me a lot of like Braun Breaker with the type of energy that he carries himself in the ring. Dude, imagine, but see, he's like Braun Breaker in that aspect, but with just a lot more wrestling talent. Obviously, Braun Breaker's is he's got the WB move set and stuff, but
Yeah,
Gabe Kidd takes that to like another level with actual in ring talent in solid in ring work. But imagine just the bangers that you would have with him, Braun Breaker, and just anybody else in the WWE roster. And like you said before, if he does go to AEW, where would his spot be? I mean, he'd be a lot bigger than everybody else in the roster. Um,
yes,
and that's the thing is like his character. Um, it wouldn't matter as much, but he'd be lost in the shuffle. I see what you're saying there, Adrian.
yeah. Especially right now, what Tony Khan is going through his phase right now. Where he's still putting his own people over, like the Hooks, Daniel Garcia's,
Hmm.
Orange Cassidy's, and I'm like, bro, come on. I mean, these people already had their chances. Daniel Garcia is currently the TNT champion. I mean, give some new talent some fresh TV time. Um, so I can't wait until pretty much AEW moves away from that. Don't get me wrong, Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, they're all very talented. But when it comes to wrestling, you have to give out the illusion that you
Hmm.
are a wrestler, I would say. And when I see Daniel Garcia, Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole, for example, I'm like, it just feels like I'm looking at James Ellsworth wrestle, take up on these main eventers. And we have seen it in WWE, but it was a comedic match. And in AEW, it's like we're the best wrestle, and it's a competitive match. And I think that's what drives a lot of people away because it's not believable, and it doesn't give the illusion that these wrestlers are actual powerhouses. If you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like for example, like you brought up Adam Cole, and then one of the things that we both mentioned was like he was away from injury, but he came back and not in shape. And we had the Young Bucks come back. We had Kenny Omega come back from diverticulitis, and he looks better than ever. The Young Bucks, they look like they put on some muscle. Like before they're wrestling, and they look a little bit chubs in the belly, which is it happens,
Yeah,
but they came back in shape and fit, which is what you want to see, right? You want to see people that are if fit, or if you are bigger like Brody King, they still look believable because they have the muscles.
yeah,
Other wrestlers, Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia, it's just kind of like I don't know what it is. And I don't see if Gabe Kidd goes to AW, then he would probably be struggling to wrestle with those guys, and I just don't see that being quite believable.
yeah. Like right now, we were talking about the Hurt Syndicate and Shelton Benjamin. Luckily,
Yeah.
Shelton Benjamin hasn't wrestled those people, and he's not jobbing to those people, so that's great. Did
Well, technically, he did lose to Daniel Garcia in the tournament.
he? I thought he beat him.
Yeah, he lost. No, he lost.
Oh, I thought he beat him. I don't know. Maybe I got my things. Maybe. But see, and that's the thing. It's like when you have somebody who looks the part, who looks like a wrestler has the height, the physique, and the skill, and then you look at someone like a Adam Cole, Danny Garcia, you're just like, I mean, where's the illusion? You know, I just see a regular average Joe beating on a muscle freak.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Gabe Kidd, like I said, he does need to make some decisions where he needs to go. My personal opinion, I think New Japan is the perfect home for him right now, for this moment. But hey, when you sign the new contract, you're obviously gonna want bigger and better things.
Mhm.
So maybe the Gabe Kid can just sign a 2-3 year contract, get his stock up, and maybe move to a bigger promotion.
Exactly, and I think he should actually be the leader of the Bullet Club. He has more aura than David
David
Finlay
Finlay.
does. Exactly. So I mean, he should be the leader. He's definitely the future of New Japan, and I would like to see him stay in New Japan Pro Wrestling as well, just because to create a little bit more mystique to his name.
Mhm,
I think WWE and AEW would be a little bit too early. But the other thing I wanted to say here, Adrian, is you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of AEW and the wrestling style.
mhm,
This is the first time I really took the time to watch an entire, Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty event. And I just want to say, when it comes to certain wrestlers like the Japanese wrestlers, I prefer that style a lot more than AEW, Adrian.
mhm,
I don't know what it is about AEW. It just seems super indie to me. And I really enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom, and I enjoyed Gabe Kidd. I enjoyed seeing was it the Rando to start off Wrestle Kingdom with Josh
yeah,
Barnett.
yep,
Like that little like grappling session was interesting to me with him and Great Old Khan.
yeah, that was great. Um, and it's like we were saying, it's just the physique, the body. I mean, Josh Barnett had a little beer belly on him, but he had the height, he had the wrestling behind him. You
Mhm.
don't have to bench press. You don't have to look like Batista or Brock Lesnar to be dominant in the ring. You could just look the part, have the height. Um,
Carry yourself as a star and not as a fucking goofball. That's what I like
yes,
to say.
yeah. And if you're gonna be a goofball doing some pelvic thrust, act like it. Don't act like you're the toughest guy in the locker room. Because I mean, let's face it. I mean, at the end of the day, it all goes to physique. And not talking shit about these wrestlers, but it's like, for example, looking at Jordan Grace. Before the bodybuilding, she had some muscle. She was a little bit on the thick side.
Mhm.
But she worked on her body. Now she's getting a WWE contract and possibly being shoot being catapulted to the moon once she goes to
Mhm.
WWE. And I think she's gonna go to the main roster.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing has to be like your attire and your outfits. Like you gotta look like a wrestler.
Yes.
Invest in your clothing and your attire. And I feel like that's one of the things that holds Orange Cassidy back a little bit. Is it? I mean, I understand the jeans and the pants and stuff, but like, it's the shoes for me, bro. Like, at least put some effort into your wrestling boots. I think. Like, he just goes to Big Five, buys
The
the
wrestler
wrestling
shoes.
A6, bro, and calls it a day.
I used to have those. Yeah, the cheap ones.
Yeah, bro. That's what I feel like, But
Yeah.
you see, like in New Japan, the Great Old Khan, he comes out with like a great fucking like entrance and
Presentation.
presentation, and that's pretty much all the rest. Even Toru Yano, who is like the gimmick funny guy, like they take time in their outfits and stuff, and I think
Yes.
that's what matters.
Yeah, and then yeah, and it's just little details here and there, but it's like I mean, if you're gonna have a cruiserweight division in AEW, have a cruiserweight division. Leave the cruiserweights in the cruiserweight division. Don't have them have competitive matches with top talent. Although some fans do like it, which is fine. But at the end of the day, is the illusion. You want to keep people wanting more. You want to keep people tuning back the next week and the next and the next. If they see Daniel Garcia go 20 minutes with Kenny Omega, and then they see Daniel Garcia go 20 minutes with someone like Brandon Cutler, then where the fuck is the
Mhm.
illusion?
Exactly. There's no illusion. It's just matches, just to have matches. You know who else that really stood out to me with their presentation, and this was in Wrestle Kingdom. It was the ladder match for the
IWGP?
junior tag division was Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, bro.
Yeah.
They look fit. They look like wrestlers. Even the was it the Tokyo Sweet Kings, or what were they called?
Yeah.
The
So,
ones that ended up winning the from the TMDK guys.
yes.
Uh yeah, they look like star. Even fucking TJP, bro.
Yes, TJP.
They they all just look like fucking wrestlers, and even though they're smaller, like, the size doesn't matter, it's just the way and the aura they carry
Yeah.
themselves, like,
Pac,
I feel like AEW needs to fucking have a little bit more of that.
yeah, and like for example, Pac, Pac and Daniel Garcia pretty much have the same attire: black
Yep,
trunks, black boots. If you look at them side by side, who are you gonna say? Oh, that guy's a threat in the ring. I'm not gonna.
exactly.
I'm not gonna look at Daniel Garcia one bit.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's just broke. It's drop down and give us 20, 30 push-ups a day.
This guy, Adrian. But I will say this, one of my biggest, I guess, people that I was like, I just don't like seeing is Wheeler Yuta. But even he, like, when he first started, he invested pretty much nothing in his attire. But at least he has, like, some sort of attire now where he doesn't look like straight from fucking, I don't know, straight from, indies, you know?
Yeah,
He has
yeah,
some sort of look to him now.
yeah. But yeah, you mentioned Clark Connors. He's not even that tall. He's like 5'7", but he has the part. He has the physique. He looks
He
like
carries himself like a professional wrestler, that's the
he,
thing.
he works on his body, and it's like it's not for us. It's for yourself. It's to build your stock and to better a company. I mean, we do this at all our regular jobs as well. You know, we always trying to
Mhm.
better our company and try to better our positions. And that's by putting in the hard work.
Yep.
I'm not saying they're not putting in the hard work, but at the end of the day, it's like, bro, I'm not gonna watch you go 20 minutes with Brody King and beat him at minute 1958. Like, what's the point? You know, Brody King is just getting buried in the process by going 20 minutes with a buck 50 guy.
Exactly. And that's one of the issues that I did have with this is like, obviously I don't know and I don't keep up the stories with Wrestle Dynasty, but like, why is Ricochet challenging for the title? Is it just because he attacked?
I think it was done in the press conference. Uh,
Oh, he did attack him. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, there's things like that, but I'm excited Ricochet's getting his shine in New Japan, but we got to see him get some wins and create some character in AEW where we see him all the time. And same with Brody King and Cesaro. Like they bring these wrestlers in as like just to have them wrestle. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But we got to see them a little bit more in AEW as well and be dominating and getting some wins. I mean, Cesaro, obviously, Claudio Castagnoli is part of the Death Riders, but Brody King, on the other hand, is just kind of like he's just there to put talent over,
yeah.
which is
He's
good for him. But he needs to get some wins because he actually looks like a wrestler. He puts on great matches, but you can't constantly overshadow him with other people.
yeah,
And I feel like if they do sign Gabe Kidd, then a lot of these people would be overshadowed even more than they already are.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, and I don't like you were saying about Brody King, and it's not just Brody King; it's the whole entire House of Black. I mean, look at
Yeah.
uh, Buddy Matthews and Aleister Black. They both
Yep.
lost to little ass Adam Cole. It was like, and the matches, and I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know if you noticed that Adam Cole's not really wrestling the same. He's wrestling like a safe style.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to go out there and do 30 Canadian destroys like some of the sickos want, but at least have your wrestling go with the flow, have it be have good chemistry with your dance partner. And I'm not seeing that from Adam Cole ever since he
Mhm.
returned. I'm seeing him a little off. And when you have somebody that's off like that, and then you have somebody like that who beats Aleister Black and Buddy Matthews back to back, it's like if you're just gonna job these guys, the guys that we care, the guys that actually have draw in the company, the guys that have a fan base behind them, you're not gonna have your fan base if you just keep burying the characters that we all love, the characters that we all want to see on TV.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I want to say is he came back from injury, and we see the matches he's putting on. And Kenny Omega comes back from diverticulitis, and he's putting on fucking this beautiful match we just saw with Gabe Kidd.
Hmm.
And it's crazy because obviously, he has diverticulitis. We know based off of Brock Lesnar that taking and getting hit in the stomach, it's not it feels completely different. So it was great to see him come back, have this good match. So now we know what to expect from Kenny Omega going forward, and obviously he's not going to be having these types of matches all the time,
No,
but it's good to see him healthy. So hopefully he comes back to AW and is 100% healthy where he can have some good matches with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because AEW needs him. AEW fucking needs this guy right now.
Yeah, AEW needs a lot of things, but Kenny Omega's a start. Yeah, man. A lot of things that AEW can do differently. Konosuke, for example, had a banger match with the Stone Pit Bull.
He also had a banger match the day before at WrestleKingdom as well.
Yeah, he did back to back in the Tokyo Dome, 5-star bangers, and he's a New Japan signee. So we're gonna see um, Konosuke try to take over New Japan, AEW, and he's also in DDT as well. So he's gonna be a busy man in 2025. Um, but see, that's the thing is like if Konosuke does have to go to DDT or New Japan for a few dates, what does that leave the roster? You know, are you gonna put Adam Cole in his place to put people or to just squash people?
And then that's the thing. As AEW International Champion, he's got to defend the title wherever he goes. So he'll probably just carry the title with him wherever he goes. And I mean, that's what Pac was. Pac was not even on AEW, and he was out there wrestling in England and
Yep.
Japan. So that's that title. But then they also have the Continental Classic Championship, which is supposed to do the same thing, but
Yep.
we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. Mercedes Moné, she went out there and she won another title, the Rev Pro title from Mina Shirakawa. So she's going to be doing the exact same thing as well.
Bro, Mercedes Moné, bro. I don't care what nobody says. The GOAT, she is basically shutting everybody up with her talent, her ring skills. WWE definitely dropped the ball with Mercedes Moné, bro. I'm glad she's on our side, on the good guy side. And I'm
On
glad
the good guy's side. Damn. Okay.
and I'm glad she's taking over the wrestling world.
We always knew she was a good wrestler. It's everything else surrounding her that it was quite kind of questionable. In the WWE field, they kind of limited her style a little bit, and a lot of the wrestlers there, I mean, they couldn't keep up with her. But now we're seeing wrestlers that can keep up with her and things that she wants to build. So the matches she's having are good, but it's just everything else around her that we got to deal with.
Yes, yeah, that is,
And that's not we're dealing with anything bad. It's just like people don't like her gimmick, they don't like her character, they don't like the way she carries herself, and that's what it is. But she's put on good matches.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking about, I don't know if after Mercedes won the title, a lot of fans have been wanting Athena to go to the main roster, which is AEW, and basically take the title away from her. And this is the thing I want to talk about. I can't tell you one match that I saw of Athena in 2022 or 2023,
Or
um,
2024.
or 2024. um, but the rumor, just people talking that Athena hasn't gotten pinned since 2002. She's held the Ring of Honor Women's Champion for over a year. Just the little things, people that are hearing just from word of mouth, they're like, "Oh, if Athena's this good in Ring of Honor, just have her bring her to the main roster." And they're doing that very well with Athena in Ring of Honor, but they're not doing it with anybody else. I'm not seeing it. Oh, you need to bring so and so to the call them up to the main roster. Um, kind of like an NXT thing. Not a lot of fans watch NXT,
Yeah,
but they hear what's going on and they're like, "Oh, if you guys say this person is good, then fucking call them up to the main roster."
yeah. I'm just like you. I haven't. This is the first time I've seen Athena Russell since she left WWE. I have no idea why she's not on the main roster on Dynamite or Collision of AEW. She needs to be there. She's clearly like very
Yeah,
talented.
yeah,
Why she is just limited to Ring of Honor, I'm assuming because Tony Khan wants to keep her behind a paywall. So people, if they want to watch Athena, they got to pay. So,
yeah,
but they got to show her on TV, man. She's too good, especially when there's nobody else really to be challenging Mariah May currently. She needs to be on the main roster. They got to work on that. I mean, Sky Blue's injured. A lot of these other wrestlers are still injured, so they gotta use her, especially
yeah,
since she's so good. Even fucking call up Billy Starks at this point too.
yeah. Call it Billy Starks. And that's the thing. AEW has the talent. They have the woman. They have talent everywhere. There's just I don't know. I guess local talent is cheap, maybe, and that's why some of them get Dynamite
Yeah.
debuts or Collision debuts. But
I remember saying the same thing about Queen Aminata. They would call, every time she'd show up, she'd lose. But then she started getting the crowd behind her, and then she got not a title shot, but she got a what is it, world title eliminator match.
Yeah.
She eventually lost, but now she's gone, so I'm assuming she's injured. I haven't seen her in a long, long time.
Yeah, and that's the thing with AEW. It's like if you're gonna have somebody or somebody have a match on Dynamite and show them frequently, like 4 weeks in a row, keep that momentum going. Even if they're not on Dynamite, have them on Collision. Then if they're
Mhm,
on Collision, have a recap on Dynamite. They were doing that in the Continental Classic. I was watching Collision yesterday, but I wasn't really paying attention on recaps. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, the little things that AEW needs to improve can improve the product a lot more. If they just tweak a few things here and there, it might be a watchable show.
Jeff Jarrett versus Aaron Solo. I mean, yeah, they wanted him to get a win. I get it, but we didn't need to see that.
No, we did not need to see that. And if we did, fucking build it up backstage somewhere, make it look like uh I don't know, man. I see, and it's like as a sicko, you try to find the good in some things, but then just sometimes you just go blank, and you're like, "This is trash. This is bad." I like Arisello. Don't get me wrong; he's a nice guy, but where's the build up? I mean, just have a little backstage segment. Make me want to tune in to an Aaron Solo match. Make me remember that he's still on the roster. You can't just have
Yeah.
you can't just have Jeff Jarrett go out and then be like, "Oh, randomly Aaron Solo's coming out." Like,
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing is that there was just announced as Jeff Jarrett in action. So at this match, who cares about Aaron Solo? It was just to promote Jeff Jarrett in his match coming at was it next Wednesday at Dynamite for
when
the
Carnage,
Casino Gauntlet Battle Royale. Whoever wins that's going to get the title shot at Maximum Carnage. So there's that. But AEW's they gotta work on promotion and some things a little bit better. But it just as somebody that loves wrestling, I just and something about New Japan Pro Wrestling is like I don't know a lot of these people, but I'm intrigued by the matches. The matches are
yeah,
good, but when I look at AEW, it's just something's lacking. I don't know what it is. Is it just the wrestlers just seem like they don't really care? I feel like that's what it is.
yeah, that or just just presentation overall. I
Mhm.
think everybody just thinks like, "Oh, I'm a tough guy. I'm a wrestler, and I'm just gonna mean mug everybody as I come out," and people are just gonna say, "Hey, that guy's bad news." But when you,
Exactly. Even like Tanahashi, right? Because he's like the John Cena
yo,
of he comes out and he's like a fucking superhero, you know?
yeah,
Is he like the most talented wrestler ever?
anymore,
At one time he probably was,
yeah,
but currently right now he is not. But I mean, he's like a superhero out there, you know?
yeah. Speaking of that Tanahashi match or Tanahashi, he had a match with Shibata Bread. And they were chopping each other really good. And then you look at those chops and you look at AEW chops, mainly Aiden Kingston. It's like, bro, the machine gun chops, they do zero damage. They are goofy as hell. He's not even doing them right like Masawa did used to do them.
Yeah.
And then even Tanahashi did them, and then Tanahashi and Shibata Bread, they did the chops really well. You saw the damage as they were chopping each other. Um, and it's just the little details that AEW needs to tweak in order to be
Exactly.
a good product. Um, but I mean, who am I? I'm just a mark.
And see, I think that's one of the little things that I did like about the Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega match is that they did that like crazy spot through the table, right? And then
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd's just laying there, and then he like sits up and he crosses his he goes crisscross applesauce, and he's just like that, bro. It's just like, oh shit, bro. I don't know why. I think it's because it was like it shows that little details like that matter because that's I mean that brings back. He's like, oh, that's from the L.A. dojo, and that's just like that's how students would sit in Japan, like
Yeah,
sit like that while the person training them, and it shows respect for the game. I think
yeah,
personally.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just shows up like uh the way they are trained is completely different than like even like WWE. You can tell somebody came up from the WWE system, like Tiffany Stratton. You could tell when somebody came up from the new, the young lions of
New Japan.
New
Yep.
Japan Dojo all the way up, and you can tell who the fuck just came up from the Indies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you can tell, and I think it's just something about those completely like built from the bottom up. They just they go extremely well into these little details that matter. So that's what I think.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned that because in WWE, it's like it's all about bettering yourself, bettering your life, bettering your family's life. If you put in the work, you obviously achieve great things. In New
Yep.
Japan, if you put in the work, you go through the dojos. Most likely are gonna go do a CMLL run,
Hmm.
um, or indie run here in America, or they used to do it in Ring of Honor. Maybe have that partnership back. Put some eyes on Ring of Honor, like some legit eyes. Don't just have the nobodies in AEW that you're not using in Ring of Honor. Um, but yeah, just the little details that you can see who's come up from where is what matters as
Yeah.
well.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to see Gabe Kidd in WWE. Maybe in a couple years, we'll see. But definitely catch us on Monday. We'll be reviewing Monday Night Raw on Netflix right after. So join me and Adrian on live stream. We'll be right here to talk to you guys about it. But till then, see you next time.
Deuces.